Hello and welcome to the Fashion the Mind All Things Beauty Alert YouTube channel. I am so excited that you have stopped by. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe so that every time a video goes out, you are notified. But also, do me a favor. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, because also over there's a lot of excitement happening in the Fashion the Mind, Fashion the Figure community. And I am excited to be here with you once again because, as I stated last week in my introductory video, if you've not watched it, please go and watch it now and then come back over to this one. We are talking about the Queen's Court. In modern day culture, we hear the word queen used a lot. But I don't think many people understand the level of responsibility that comes along with being called a queen. And that's why I feel so compelled to share with everyone and call us to a higher level of understanding of what a queen represents and the different character traits that she possesses. Number one, understand this: queens are powerful. Queens, in making decisions, whether global, local, or right among their family and friends, are thoughtful. They exercise mindfulness so that when they make decisions, they weigh to the best of their ability how this is going to impact those that this decision is being made for. And so when you look at our queens in history, okay, some are seen favorably, some are not. However, we want to think about the more positive, favorable ones that we can model ourselves after. However, a queen that sits beside a king, she must represent on that throne with such excellence, with such charisma, with such charm, with such gentility and femininity. And I think in our modern day society, femininity, gentility, etiquette, all of that is somewhat fading in the distance. But I want us to take time to focus and bring that back, because that to me exemplifies pure ladyhood. So let's talk about charismatic, being charismatic. A charismatic woman is one that is attractive, one that influences, and one that inspires people with charm. Now, what does a queen do? She shows positive body image. So let's pause right there. With social media, I see so much happening with our women and young girls. And some of it makes me raise an eyebrow. Because when I think of positive body image, the first woman that pops into my mind is Michelle Obama. Whenever you have seen Michelle Obama on camera, off camera, she presents a positive body image. Yes, she's tall. Yes, she has a great figure. Yes, she wears beautiful, fashionable, stately clothing that complements her figure. These are the things we need to consider when presenting our body image. And for those of us that are a little bit more mature in life and the body goes through changes, because believe me when I tell you, a woman of my age is going through some changes, you have to make the adjustments accordingly. And the reason I stop at this particular point, because we have a generation right now that does not know necessarily what a positive body image is, because they are being bombarded by media, entertainment, music, peer pressure. And so therefore, it is important that we who call ourselves queens, that we model those things and help them to embrace who they are, because they will soon be the next generation of queens. And so my mom taught my sister and me growing up everything that fashion makes doesn't necessarily mean it is something that she or I should wear. And it's funny because, growing up in a Pentecostal church, and I'll just say that, we didn't wear pants, we didn't wear makeup and all that stuff. But yes, I do today, and I still love the Lord. It doesn't take away from who I am, but it was just the church that I was a part of that was the way we operated. But even now, I am conscientious of my body image and my presentation. And I look back in my life and I look back at the women that I saw growing up, and looking at some of the women of today, there is a vast difference. And so I want to help bridge that gap, because I always tell people you can be classy without being trashy. Okay. And I think more and more of our culture, we're somewhat borderlining, because we all have this free thinking, free spirit. But even with that, you have to exercise good judgment and discernment. And those are two other things that we need to think about as queens: judgment and discernment, because it is going to say a lot about you. People judge you from the external before you open your mouth. You can be one of the most intelligent people, but before you open your mouth, and think about speakers like myself, when we stand in public platforms, if we don't present positive body image and the right image, people are not going to listen to our messages. So that's why it's so important that as a queen, you put that out there initially, is positive body image. And what does the old cliche say? You only have one time to make a first impression. But something else that a queen does, she listens carefully and with intention. Don't be so quick to speak. Sometimes sit back and absorb and listen, because people want to know that you care. And by caring, you demonstrate that through listening and not always wanting to interrupt or insert your own opinion, okay? Queens make the conversation about others. The late, great Mary Kay said, show people and listen on how, and demonstrate for them how much you care by making them feel important. So when you make people feel important, the conversation is not about you, but it's about them, the great things that they are accomplishing, the direction of their life that they are heading in a positive way. You want to surround others by making the conversation about them and not about you. Don't be egotistical, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. Then the next thing is you want to influence people to a place of action. Now, when you think about history, civil rights movement, slavery, you had some powerful women that did things which prompted action. As a queen, you want to influence people to a place of action, but action in a good way. And so many of us, we're involved with our churches, we're involved with government, we are involved with the gamut of things. But it is so important that as a queen, you call people to action, especially on matters that really impact humanity. Right now, there's a lot of things happening around us, but we can take action and be influential women and call people to action by the things that we say and do, the things that we post, the things that we participate in. All of this is a part of being in the Queen's Court. So next, let's talk about being confident. No, we do not wake up all the time feeling confident. Confidence is like putting on an accessory every day. Okay, it is something that you will have to practice every day because, again, it's not something you're always born with. Like they say, there are people who are born leaders. Well, even with that and with confidence, you're not always feeling confident, but you have to do things to build your confidence. So a confident person is one who is self-assured, not arrogant, one who is poised and polished, okay, one that is self-reliant. And let me stop there. Self-reliance doesn't mean that you don't need God and other people, but it means that you know enough about yourself when called to task that you have the skills and the wherewithal to get the job done. Okay, so that's what self-reliant is all about. So let's talk about how to build being a confident person. 1, get things done. Don't have too much idle time. As the old generation used to say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Don't have too much idle time. Because when you allow yourself to become idle and you're not getting things done, you leave yourself open for negative things, okay? Or if not necessarily negative things, things that may not push you in a productive way, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, another way to build being a confident person is stand up for yourself and others. There's a lot of social injustice going on. There's a lot of political undermining that's happening. Well, as queens, sometimes we have to get out there and stand up for ourselves and other people. Or if you know of a situation where somebody could use your support, that takes you being confident enough to somewhat maybe serve as an intermediary in a situation. However, stand up for yourself and others. Another way to start to build being a confident person, monitor your own progress. My aunt says this little funny, and I think you're going to crack up when I say this. She says, I have 6 months to mind my business and 6 months to leave yours alone. Okay. So if you are monitoring your own progress throughout the year and worry less about what other people are doing, you will find that you're going to love the life that you're living because you are so focused on how you can make changes for yourself that will ultimately impact other people. And this allows you to live a light, airy, carefree life. Things won't always be so heavy. Follow through. Now, somebody asked me one time, what does success mean to you, Jennifer? And I said, success for me means the thing that I start, I follow through and complete. See, many times we look at success in ways of monetary success, relational success, educational success. Well, for simple little old me, success is when I start something, following through and finishing it out. That's getting things done, okay? And look how that translates into my life. That I am now able to be a mompreneur, a serialpreneur, and yet I still have time for my loved ones and all the great things that I want to do. And I get to walk in such a queenly-like fashion because I am confident, okay? Next thing, think long term. Don't think about the short term. Think long term. Because when you think long term, it gives you a track to run on. It's giving you a life goal and plan. Some people may need to sit down with a lifestyle coach like myself to help you figure out what that long-term plan looks like for you. Because queens don't just want to live aimlessly. You don't just want to live for today or tomorrow or 6 months or a year from now. Queens have long-term projections. Think long-term. And finally, queens don't necessarily care about what others think. Now, yes, we are powerful and we impact change. However, we don't allow ourselves to get caught up in that cycle of, if I make this choice, will this person like me? If I make that choice, will this person, stay on my team? You know why? Because a queen knows that when she is making a decision, when she is about to do something, whether privately or publicly, she is doing it from a sincere, authentic, and pure place. So therefore, when you know that you are operating under those auspices, you don't care what other people think, because you're thinking about the better good of that decision of those it will impact. So now, here's your exercise, and I could not wait for everybody to stick around and really work on this exercise. And I want to hear how you score. So make sure you comment so that I am able to find out where you fell within the scoring range, okay? So this is what you're going to do, and this is to rate you on how charismatic you really are. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, okay? I want you to rate these statements. Has a presence in a room. Has the ability to influence people. Knows how to lead a group. Makes people feel comfortable. Smiles at people often. Can get along with everyone. Okay, so I'm going to read those statements again. And what you are going to do is you're going to rate where you are on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the highest, okay? Here we go. Has a presence in a room. Has the ability to influence people. Knows how to lead a group. Makes people feel comfortable. Smiles at people often. Can get along with everyone. Now, after that, I want you to divide the total score by 6. So add up all of the numbers, divide it by 6, and then you will get your charisma value. Anything over 3.7 is actually above average, higher than above average. So please comment. I want to know how you score. Thank you for sticking around to the very end. Next week, I will come back and we will talk about 2 other character traits of a queen. But it is so important to me, ladies, that we go back to the drawing board and help our young women especially, and even for some of us that need to reconfigure our minds on what a queen truly is. Welcome to the Queen's Court. Have a great one. Thank you.